All right, welcome. So, if you're a newcomer to Canada, you probably know that feeling. You're standing at this huge crossroads, full of potential, but let's be honest, facing a lot of uncertainty. Well, this explainer is all about turning that uncertainty into a clear, concrete roadmap for your success. Okay, let's get into it. This right here, this is the big question, isn't it? It's probably the one that keeps a lot of new immigrants up at night. And you know what? It's a totally valid thing to be asking. You've made this massive life change, and now the real challenge begins. How do you translate all of your skills and your ambition into a career that actually thrives in this new place? And here's the most important thing to get right from the very beginning. The truth is, what made you successful back home isn't necessarily the whole story here. Success in Canada isn't just about showing off your past experience. It's really about embracing a totally new mindset, one that's all about learning, adapting, and grabbing that practical local knowledge. And to help you do exactly that, we're going to walk through a really solid model. We'll kick things off with the initial challenge pretty much everyone faces. Then, I'll introduce you to a powerful four-step framework. We'll see how to build practical knowledge, and finally, how to put it all into action. This is your game plan. You know, a lot of newcomers show up thinking their money and their work history are their biggest assets. And hey, those things are absolutely important, but they are not the deciding factor for your future. The real key, the thing that truly predicts who's going to make it, is your ability to adapt and learn within this very specific Canadian context. And this right here is the huge mindset shift we're talking about. The old way of thinking is all about what you've already done. But the new reality, it demands that you focus on what you need to learn. See the difference? It's a shift away from just finding a job to proactively building the new knowledge that's going to lead you to the right job. So, how in the world do you make that shift? Well, the answer is in this simple but honestly pretty brilliant four-step model. Think of it like your personal operating system for navigating the professional world here in Canada. It's a clear, actionable framework that's going to guide you every step of the way. And here it is, the whole shebang. It starts with a surprising step. Forget. You got to make space for new ways of doing things. Then you learn by hunting down the right information. Next, you do. You turn all that theory into real action. And finally, you adapt, becoming fully integrated. Each step builds on the one before it, creating this amazing momentum. All right, let's dig into the foundation, those first two steps. This is where you build the bedrock, really, for everything else you're going to do. And it all starts by understanding the huge difference between data, information, and what we're really after, knowledge. When you first get here, you are literally swimming in data. Job ads, rent prices, news headlines, it's all just raw random facts flying at you. And on its own, all that data is basically just noise. So the next step is to turn that noise into a clear signal. And you do that by organizing the data, by giving it some rules and some context. All of a sudden, those random facts become meaningful information that actually starts to answer real questions like who is hiring in my field or what specific skills are they looking for? And that brings us to the ultimate goal, the most powerful level, knowledge. Knowledge is what happens when you connect all that relevant information together to answer the most important question of all, how to. How to get that license, how to build a professional network, how to write a Canadian-style resume. That how-to is everything. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The point isn't to become a walking encyclopedia of Canadian trivia. The real goal is to build a base of knowledge that directly tells you what to do next. It has to lead to action. Okay, hold on. Before we move on, I want to put a huge spotlight back on step 2 for a second. We're flagging this because the research is super clear. Mastering the art of answering those how-to questions is the single biggest thing you can do to speed up your journey to your goals. Seriously, this skill is what separates the people who adapt quickly from those who get stuck. So you've built your knowledge base. Now what? Well, let's get into steps 3 and 4, which are all about turning what you know into what you can do, and ultimately, who you can become in your new home. Step 3 is where the rubber meets the road. This is the doing phase. All that knowledge you worked so hard to get now gets put to the test. It's not enough to just have the information. You got to apply it to solve problems, to innovate, to actually contribute. This is how you build your Canadian track record. Building your skills is critical, for sure. But let's face it, professional success is almost never a solo mission. It happens inside of teams, companies, and communities. And that leads us to the final, and maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle. Step 4 is all about fitting in socially and professionally. In Canada, your success is deeply, deeply tied to how well you work with other people. This means practicing empathy, being a great teammate, really respecting different values, and learning to communicate and solve problems together. These are not just soft skills, they are absolutely essential tools for success here. I know. This model can feel a little theoretical, right? So let's make it super concrete. We're going to walk through a real-world example from the source material just so you can see exactly how this four-step process actually works in practice. So let's imagine a newcomer. They want to start a construction business. They've got tons of experience from back home, but they're smart. They know that's not going to be enough. They need to use this model to really crack the Canadian market. Okay, so look how it works. Step 1. They forget what a typical house looks like in their home country and instead learn all about Canadian detached homes, townhouses, and bungalows. Step 2. They build that how-to knowledge by diving deep into the specific rules of the Ontario Building Code. Step 3. They turn that knowledge into a skill by learning how to hire the right local architects and tradespeople. And Step 4. They adapt, figuring out what Canadian buyers actually want so they can sell what they build. See? It's a clear path. And check this out. This is incredible. When it comes to getting a business loan, the source material shows that having a killer business plan and real expertise, which are the direct results of following this model, are actually more important to the bank than how much money you have to start with. Your knowledge is your most valuable asset. So let's just pull this all together. This little table basically sums up your entire journey. You start with these big questions, and the model gives you a step-by-step way to find the answers, all the way from gathering raw data to finally using your skills and adapting to your new life. All right, so if you only take away a few things today, let it be these. First, success here is not about luck. It's a process that you can learn. Second, be brave enough to let go of old information that doesn't work anymore. Third, focus like a laser on building how-to knowledge. And finally, remember that real success comes when you put that knowledge into action and become a real part of your new community. And so that leaves us with one last, really powerful question. And this one isn't for me, it's for you. Take a look at your goals. Think about your biggest dreams. What is the very first how-to question you are going to answer to start building your new future in Canada starting right now?